What's up, s'mores? I'm Shannon Morse. I asked if y'all wanted to see more iOS videos on my channel, and you overwhelmingly said yes. So I bought a new iPhone 16, yes I did, and to wrap up Cybersecurity Awareness Month, which is October, it's my favorite month of the year, this video covers 24 security and privacy settings that you need to make sure you have enabled or disabled in iOS 18. Now this affects the newest Apple iPhone operating system, which is iOS 18. So if you have not updated, do so now. That will give you access to these new settings, including a very important one that will impact your conversations with your contacts. Now, even if you had followed previous security and privacy tutorials on my channel, iOS 18 does have some new features. So you should definitely watch this video in full to ensure that you have got all the settings changed appropriately for your lifestyle. Now, we are going to live in the settings app for like the first half of this video. So go ahead and open up your settings app, which is this little gear icon. Hit settings, then tap on your name up at the top, and then click personal information. Now from here, click on communication preferences. And on this section, make sure to disable all three of those toggles. These are advertisements that Apple sends to your email inbox, so you generally just don't really need them. Now go back to your main settings page. Okay, now from the settings, we're gonna scroll down a little bit, go down to Wi-Fi, and then scroll down to the bottom where it says Ask to Join Networks. On this settings page, your phone is going to automatically join known networks and notify you if other networks are available. Disable this setting by turning it to off for some additional privacy and to prevent yourself or your phone from accidentally joining a rogue wireless network set up by a Wi-Fi pineapple. Ask me how I know. Yes, I used to sell them. Now, I also wanted to make mention as we go back to the settings menu, scrolling down just a little bit more to battery. So go to settings, battery, and then tap on charging. This is a new option. A new option is this slider that will allow you to optimize your battery by forcing it to charge up to 80, 90, or 95% and stop instead of all the way up to 100%. If you charge up to 100% over time, that can decrease the lifespan of the battery on your phone. That's just a known issue with the type of batteries that are installed in smartphones these days. So if you make it stop at something like, I'm gonna say 95% right there, that's gonna make your battery last for a much longer time, which is especially useful if you plan to keep your phone for a long period. Now, before I tell you about the rest of these must-do changes, I wanted to give a shout out to my sponsor. October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and I thought it was incredibly timely to share that one of my biggest pro tips is using Delete Me to remove your private and personal data from the web. Now, I have been a subscriber for years, and I have had an excellent experience with Delete Me, so I am very happy to have them as a sponsor on my channel. Data brokers consistently give us a headache because they buy our personal data like your name, your physical home address, your phone number, and more, and they put this information on their websites, making it publicly accessible to anybody who might want it. But luckily, we have a saving grace. It's called Delete Me. Delete Me exists, and they work to delete this information off hundreds of data broker sites on a quarterly basis, because you can delete your info off a data broker once and forget about it, but that data broker will eventually repost it without your consent. Data brokers make it easier to get hacked. They share the kind of information that customer service asks for whenever you need to reset a password or to make a change to your accounts online. Data brokers are one of the reasons why we constantly get inundated with phishing emails or spammy texts or phone calls, or you get strange pamphlets sent to your inbox, your mailbox. So if you're worried about where scammers and spammers keep finding your phone number, or you just need to take precautions to prevent stalking or scams, then Delete Me is a product that I have recommended myself personally long before they became a sponsor, and I have been a customer of for many years. You can use the code SNUBS for 20% off and see how Delete Me can help you take your online privacy to the next level. Hit up joindeleteme.com/morsecode or hit the little QR code and choose how many people you want to protect, because you can also protect your family too, which is great. And you can sign up today. Thank you so much to Delete Me for being my privacy assistant online when I have needed it most throughout my career, and thank you so much for sponsoring this video. Okay, we're picking it up from the main settings tab. You want to scroll down to where you see it say camera, which is on the next section down. You'll see a bunch of new settings in here because there's new cameras and a new setup for the iPhone 16, but it will be similar for you as well on iOS 18, no matter which iPhone you own. Now, one that's related to security that I wanted to point out is scan QR codes, which is right here. Since anybody can create a sticker with a QR code on it and put it on a restaurant menu, a parking bench, or a sign, you never really know if QR codes are legitimately letting you pay for parking or food, or if somebody created a fake website just to steal your credit card information. You can disable scan QR codes so you don't accidentally scan and click on any malicious links. If you need it, you can always go back into your settings and enable it. So I'll disable that there. QR codes are actually becoming more popular in advertisements that you see on televisions as well as in YouTube videos like my own. So if you're not sure if a QR code is legitimate, you can just type in a website that it's asking you to go to and you will know that you are for sure going to that domain. They are great for convenience, but also you have to make sure that you're going to the right website and you're not getting phished. Also, a little side note about the camera settings, and this is just to play nice with everybody else. If you want your photos and videos to play nice with non-Apple devices, go to Formats, which is a little bit above Scan QR codes, click on that, and then switch from high efficiency to most compatible. That will ensure that Auntie on her Windows laptop will be able to open the pictures that you send her. Now we'll go back to our main settings page here. If you have made purchases through the Apple App Store apps, then you can cancel those on the subscription tab. Click on your name, go to subscriptions. You'll notice that I don't have any subscriptions, but this is important to note. Oftentimes, you are charged more via the Apple App Store because Apple takes a cut of subscription sales purchases made in those apps. An example is Patreon, which just alerted us creators that new subscriptions made via the Apple App Store will be charged an extra 30% to cover the percentage that Apple takes from app developers. So to circumvent this and get around that fee, just click on Safari, your web browser, or whichever browser you have downloaded. If you use Google Chrome, use that one. Go to the app's website and purchase from the site instead. Sometimes the price will be lower, but you get the same subscription. Now let's go back to the main page and click on notifications. Then click on screen sharing and turn this off. This is going to affect anyone who uses their phone to screen share, whether that's other content creators, if you're a teacher, maybe you're just helping somebody fix their phone, etc. Disable the settings so that anyone watching your screen share does not also see all of your notifications pop up. That's a big one for privacy if you screen share a lot. Going back to the main settings, click on, where is it? Display and brightness. From here, I'm gonna scroll down to auto lock and change this one to a lower number, like 30 seconds or a minute. Changing it to one of those options is wonderful for privacy. That will automatically lock your phone even if you forget to do it manually so that nobody can creep through your apps or your text messages while you are not looking. Now, obviously mine is set to never. I do that with all phones when I am showing them on screen so that I can continuously show you the screen on my phone and it won't lock while I'm trying to record a tutorial. But when I'm done with this video, I am 100% changing it over to 30 seconds. Ain't no reason I need to leave it on never. Ain't no reason. From the main settings page, we're going to go down to search. Sorry, I went a little country there. On the search page, you want to disable the toggle next to help Apple improve search, which is right here. Apple is storing the searches that you enter into Safari, Siri, and Spotlight. They say it's not linked to you, but you might as well just disable it anyway. Let's go back to the main settings. Tap on privacy and security. It's a little bit farther down. First, click on tracking and disable this up at the top that says allow apps to request to track. That setting normally allows apps to track activity across other branded apps. They don't need it, so just deny, deny, deny. From privacy and security, click on location services. Now this one is pretty customizable. Customize this list so that none of the apps say always. Obviously, some of them make more sense than others, like the weather app needs to know your location so it can tell you what the weather is. The maps needs to know your location so that you can get correct driving information. If you don't give them location data, it's not going to be accurate. But let's scroll down to system services. That's one I wanted to show you right here. There's a lot of wonky little toggles in here. The ones that I am leaving on include compass calibration right here. That makes sense. Emergency and SOS also makes sense. Find my iPhone. In case I lose it, I want to be able to find it. Networking and wireless, which can help me connect. Then we have satellite connection. This is great if I'm going on a hike. Share my location and significant locations, which is right here, and that's listed as on. And then I'm going to scroll down a little bit farther. There's this little menu line right here that says product improvement. Phone analytics, routing and traffic, and improve maps. I'm going to disable all three of those. None of this stuff is going to impact your device's performance. Most of these settings are pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go into details. If you hit back once to those location services, you can make sure that none of these are being granted full access. If you go back to privacy and security and scroll down and look through your apps, you can see if any of these are granting full access. Now, I do have 3 on here that are granting full access, and that's by choice. Calendars grants full access to Google Calendar, same with contacts, and then Photos down here grants full access to Google Photos. Now, in my case, that makes sense because I share pictures or calendar events that I create on this phone to my daily driver Android devices. I am an Android girly at heart, so I just use the iPhone for work. But if anything looks sketch, you can click on the app and then you could click on the one that it's granting access to, then click an option that is not full access. So for example, if I wanted to turn off Google Photos having full access, I click on that, and then I choose full access, limited, or none. But I'm gonna leave that on so that Google Photos automatically backs up the pictures that I take on this iPhone. Okay, let's go back to privacy and security. Scroll to the bottom, analytics and improvements. Just disable everything on here. They really don't need your analytics, so just disable it. You don't need to share any of that information from your phone. And side note, it can also save some battery too when you aren't sending more data. So just disable all the things. Right underneath that setting is the Apple advertising setting. This toggle grants Apple the ability to send you personalized ads. So just disable it. Let's go back to the general tab and go to apps way at the bottom. Then I'm going to go to photos and look for an option that says show hidden album. The hidden album will appear under utilities. Now, if you don't want your hidden album to appear at all, disable that. It's good for privacy. Now back under apps, we're gonna go to Safari and scroll down to the section that says profile. Profiles right here. Now make sure that this option right here, prevent cross-site tracking, is enabled. You also wanna make sure that hide IP address from trackers is turned on. So make sure that's set to from trackers. Then make sure to enable require Face ID to unlock private browsing. Then enable fraudulent website warning. And when you're done with all that, click clear history and website data. Now, when you click on that clear history, that's going to clear all the history. So any websites that are currently cached, they won't be cached anymore. So when you go back to your Safari browser, things might be a little slow when you're reloading all the websites that you normally go to, but that also means that none of your previous data is going to be stored anymore. So it's a nice way to just refresh things. I also wanted to mention under advanced on the Safari menu, click on website data and then click that button at the bottom that says remove all website data. This is going to also delete current login cookies and start fresh. Go back to advanced, and if you do want to block all cookies, you can enable that toggle as well. Keep in mind though, that may prevent your logins in Safari from staying logged in though. So for convenience sake, especially if you keep your phone safe, you can also keep that disabled. One I definitely wanted to mention was disabling the privacy preserving ad measurement, which is right underneath the blocking of all the cookies. If this toggle is turned off, there are no ad measurements whatsoever. If it's turned on, there are still some ad measurements happening. Apple just disables some of them for privacy, so just turn them all off. Okay, now moving on from the settings app to some specific new features in iOS 18. First, I wanted to take a look at the new passwords app. This app will automatically save and autofill passwords for the apps and the sites that you visit. Everything is encrypted within your Apple account, and the Passwords app syncs to all of your other iOS devices. Now, if you are not comfortable using a separate cross-platform password manager like I do, or you just have a lot of Apple devices, this is a very convenient alternative that also offers security. So if you are turning it on for the first time, enable autofill so passwords are automatically filled in for you. I also recommend enabling Passwords app notifications just in case it needs to prompt you to change a password if one of them is caught in a data leak or a breach. I only have Wi-Fi network passwords saved in mine, as you can see here, but all passwords are securely stored, and this also allows me to easily transfer to a new iPhone whenever I upgrade. If you are still using the same password across multiple sites, if you are still writing them down in a notebook, and if you have an iPhone, then I highly recommend using the Passwords app over one of those options because this is a lot more convenient, and it also allows you to use different passwords on multiple sites and not have to memorize them. Next up, iOS 18 lets you hide apps. So you can tuck away apps into a locked and hidden app folder, and the only way in is through Face ID, Touch ID, or your device's passcode. So first off, you probably want to know how to put an app in your hidden folder. To do so, you can hold down on an app like I just did here, and then click on Require Face ID. Now, if you can hide it, because some apps cannot be hidden, you will see an option to hide and require Face ID, like I see here. Click on that, let it find your face, and this is the notification that you're gonna see pop up. So I'm gonna click Hide App, and the app will no longer be visible on my iPhone. It just disappeared from my home screen. You will also no longer see notifications or alerts from that app. Now let's say you wanna access your hidden apps folder if it's not there anymore. Swipe left to your app library and scroll down to the bottom and click on Hidden. I'm going to show it my face. There we go. Now you can see the two apps that I have hidden, Target and Messenger. So it will verify your Face ID and then open the folder. And just something to mention too, if you are under 13, this feature is not going to work for you, and teens between 13 and 18 can use it, but parents can still check which apps have been downloaded. So no app hiding ninja moves to dodge your parents. Now, one feature that had me saying, oh my gosh, finally, is the ability to customize who has access to your contacts. So say you're just using an app for work, like Slack or something. Now you can set it up so only your work contacts are shared with that app. Your personal contacts can stay completely off the grid. With iOS 18, you get that clear view of exactly which apps are accessing things like those location services, your files, your contacts, and health info. All of that data at a glance, which is ready for you to lock down and is super slick. But I also wanted to mention a couple of different things that you can change that have to do with your contacts. You can share your contact info automatically. So to do this, go to your Contacts app, tap into one of your lists. I'm going to tap into iCloud. Tap on My Card, and then tap on Contact, Photo, and Poster. You can turn on name and photo sharing right there, and choose to share automatically with either contacts only or always ask. I thought that was pretty cool. Also, from your settings, go back to that privacy and security screen. There it is. And then tap on Contacts. And again, this is where you can choose which applications will have full access, limited access, or none. I also wanted to mention AirDrop. Go to Settings, then General. Where are you? There it is, General. Then click on AirDrop and turn off this setting that says Bringing Devices Together. This setting easily swaps numbers with name drop, share photos, and more by holding the top of your iPhone close to another iPhone. Yes, you do have to approve it, but if you don't want to deal with it or accidentally share your data, then you can just turn that off. Okay, next up is Apple Intelligence. It's Apple's shiny new AI platform that's rolling out with iOS 18. Apple has stated that it processes everything on your device, meaning that your personal data is not getting sucked up into some massive cloud database for AI training. So while Apple Intelligence knows your preferences, it does not use your data to train their AI. And Apple's created this thing called Private Cloud Compute, or PCC, that extends that privacy to their cloud so your data stays yours no matter where the AI is doing its thing in order for you to interact with it. Since this is fairly new, I did want to mention comment comment down below if you want me to do a full video covering the particulars of Apple Intelligence, how to customize it for your own device preferences. I don't have a lot of those options available to me yet on my iPhone, but I should soon. Lastly, if you have the option, you should absolutely 100% enable RCS messaging as soon as it is available. Even though this is also rolling out, some iPhones do not have access to RCS yet because it also requires your carrier, be it Verizon or Google Fi or T-Mobile or whoever, to also enable it. But if it is ready, this is how you turn it on. So to enable RCS messaging on an iPhone with iOS 18, you just do the following. Go to Settings, then scroll down and tap on Apps at the very bottom, then tap on Messages. And if the option is available to you, it will show up under Text Messages. RCS stands for Rich Communication Services, and it allows for enhanced messaging between iPhones and Android users. It gives you better read receipts, higher quality photos and videos whenever you send those back and forth, typing indicators, and emoji compatibility. It also works in group chats. However, there are some things that you want to keep in mind. Your carrier, first off, must support RCS, and everybody in the chat must have it enabled for it to work in that chat. Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile are some of the carriers that support RCS, but hopefully more will come soon. RCS does require data connectivity, so you will need a device with a mobile data capability or an internet connection. Apple's iOS 18 update only includes a limited protocol for RCS, and it does not include full encryption, full end-to-end encryption. Apple has said that it will work to improve that protocol, but that's not expected to happen anytime soon. And yes, Rich Communication Services, or RCS, can be used on an iPhone without cellular service if the device is connected to Wi-Fi. And here's a quick reminder, if you have not updated to iOS 18 yet, just hop into your settings, go to General, and then click on Software Update, and make sure that you are on iOS 18.0 or later. And while you are at it, go ahead and turn on automatic updates too, so you are always up to date with the latest security features. Thank you again for watching, and thank you so much to my sponsor for sponsoring this episode. I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.